Welcome back to our channel. Unlock the legacy of the half-dollar coin, a symbol of American history and tradition. The 1973 U.S. half-dollar coin, though often overlooked compared to its smaller counterparts, carries with it a remarkable story of American history, design, and rarity. At first glance, it may appear to be just another coin, circulating through the economy like countless others. However, for those who take the time to understand its significance, the 1973 half-dollar holds a unique place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike. To appreciate why the 1973 half-dollar coin is so intriguing, we need to first take a step back and examine the context in which it was minted. The half-dollar has been part of U.S. currency for over 2 centuries, but it has gone through various design changes over the years. By 1973, the coin was far removed from its original design, yet it still carried a significant weight in American coinage. The 1973 half-dollar is particularly interesting because it represents a transitional moment in U.S. coin history. The coin was struck during a period when the United States was going through significant political and social changes, including the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and the growing momentum of the civil rights movement. It was a time when Americans were questioning the very fabric of their society, and the coins they carried reflected the nation's desire to look toward the future while honoring its past. The design of the 1973 half-dollar is one of the most recognizable in U.S. history, as it features the image of President John F. Kennedy. This design was chosen to honor the life and legacy of the 35th president, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. Kennedy's image was first used on the half-dollar coin in 1964, shortly after his death, and it remains one of the most enduring symbols of American currency to this day. The decision to place Kennedy on the half-dollar was not only a tribute to his leadership and vision but also a way to connect the coin to a moment of national tragedy and renewal. The obverse of the 1973 half-dollar features a portrait of Kennedy facing left, designed by the famed sculptor Gilroy Roberts. Around the perimeter of the coin are the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year of minting, 1973. The reverse of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the presidential seal, a symbol of the United States government. The seal features a bald eagle with outstretched wings, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. This symbol represents the power and strength of the United States, and it is surrounded by the words, "United States of America," and "half-dollar." The 1973 half-dollar was minted in both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and it was made from a composition of 40% silver and 60% copper. This composition, known as coin silver, was used in the half-dollar coins until 1970, after which the silver content was reduced due to rising silver prices. The 1973 half-dollar was one of the last to contain a significant amount of silver, making it more valuable than other coins minted after the switch to a copper-nickel composition. The minting process of the 1973 half-dollar, like all U.S. coins, was a precise and careful operation. Coins were struck multiple times to ensure clarity and detail, and the end result was a coin that not only served as currency but also as a work of art. The quality of the strike and the condition of the coin would ultimately determine its appeal to collectors. While most of the 1973 half-dollars that entered circulation were eventually used as legal tender and spent, some coins remained in pristine condition, preserving their historical significance and aesthetic value. This brings us to one of the key aspects of the 1973 half-dollar's appeal: its rarity in certain conditions. While the coin was struck in large numbers, not all of them have survived in excellent condition. Coins that were heavily circulated or mishandled have lost much of their luster, making high-quality specimens more rare and desirable to collectors. On the other hand, coins that were carefully preserved, either by collectors or by chance, are much rarer and more valuable. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can fetch substantial premiums, particularly if they are free from any visible defects or imperfections. Beyond the condition of the coin, there are a number of factors that contribute to the value of the 1973 half-dollar. One of the most important is the presence of minting errors. Minting errors occur when a coin is struck improperly or experiences some kind of flaw during production. These errors can range from minor defects to major mistakes that make the coin significantly more rare and valuable. For example, a 1973 half-dollar that was struck off-center, or a coin that was double-struck, can be worth many times its face value. These errors are often overlooked by the general public, but to collectors and investors, they represent a rare opportunity to own something truly unique. Another key factor in the value of the 1973 half dollar is the growing interest in coins from the modern era of U.S. coinage. While coins from earlier periods, such as the 19th and early 20th centuries, tend to dominate the market, coins from the post-World War II era have also gained traction among collectors. This is particularly true for coins like the 1973 half dollar, which is linked to a moment of national importance and is part of a design series that has continued for decades. As more collectors focus on coins from the mid-20th century, the demand for coins like the 1973 half dollar continues to rise. But what about the value of the 1973 half dollar? While most of these coins are worth their face value of 50 cents, certain examples have garnered significant interest in the marketplace. A 1973 half dollar in mint state, free from any defects or wear, can be worth far more than its face value. And for those lucky enough to possess a 1973 half dollar with a minting error, the value can increase even more dramatically. Some of these rare specimens have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition. However, the real surprise comes when we consider the most valuable of the 1973 half dollars, those that are in pristine condition or feature rare minting errors. A 1973 half dollar, graded at the highest levels of quality, can fetch a staggering $148,000. Yes, this is the kind of value that can turn an ordinary half dollar into an extraordinary treasure. For collectors who are able to find one of these rare specimens, the payoff can be enormous. This incredible increase in value is a testament to the growing interest in coin collecting and the potential for certain coins to appreciate in value over time. As the world of numismatics continues to evolve, coins like the 1973 half dollar are gaining recognition for their historical significance, artistic design, and rarity. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the hobby, the 1973 half dollar coin represents a fascinating piece of American history and a potential investment opportunity. So, the next time you come across a 1973 half dollar, remember that it could be worth much more than its 50-cent face value. A coin that once passed through everyday transactions could now be a rare treasure worth as much as $148,000. It's a remarkable story of how coins, once seen as commonplace, can become priceless artifacts over time. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of the 1973 half dollar. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more insights into the fascinating world of rare coins, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next lucky person to discover a coin worth a small fortune. Happy collecting! The 1976 US half dollar coin may seem like just another regular coin, but to those who appreciate the subtle artistry and history embedded in American currency, it carries a unique and fascinating story. When you think of coins, especially those like the half dollar, you might not immediately consider them to be anything beyond the metal money you use to pay for items. But for collectors, numismatists, and those with a keen eye for history, coins like the 1976 half dollar are much more than their face value. In fact, the 1976 half dollar has become one of the most sought-after coins in the U.S. mint's modern history. But why, you ask? What is it about the 1976 half dollar that makes it a hidden gem in the world of coin collecting? Well, let's step into the time machine and explore this fascinating coin, its design, its historical context, its minting details, and the factors that contribute to its high value today. First, let's take a look at the broader historical context in which the 1976 half dollar was minted. The year 1976 was a landmark year for the United States, as the nation celebrated its bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of its independence. This was a momentous occasion, and it was marked by nationwide celebrations, commemorations, and remembrances of the country's founding. Everything from fireworks to parades, coins to stamps, was designed to honor this milestone in American history. The 1976 half dollar coin was a part of this grand celebration, and its design reflects the spirit of patriotism and historical reflection that defined the year. The 1976 half dollar was part of the U.S. Mint's bicentennial series, which included a set of coins designed specifically to commemorate the country's 200th anniversary. For the first time in history, the U.S. Mint released a series of coins that featured designs different from their traditional versions. The 1976 half dollar was no exception, as it sported a brand new reverse design to mark the bicentennial celebration. before we dive into the specifics of the coin's design, it's important to note that the half-dollar had undergone various design changes throughout the years. The most famous and enduring design, that of President John F. Kennedy, had been used on the half-dollar since 1964. This iconic design was created by sculptor Gilroy Roberts and depicts Kennedy in profile, facing left. On the reverse side, the coin featured the presidential seal, a symbol of strength and unity for the United States. However, the bicentennial celebration required something special. For the 1976 coin, the U.S. Mint unveiled a new reverse design, breaking with tradition to mark the milestone. The design was created by the artist and engraver Dennis R. Williams and featured an image of the Liberty Bell, one of the most recognizable symbols of American independence. Above the Liberty Bell, the coin displayed the date 1776 to 1976, representing the years of the American Revolution and the country's founding. Encircling the bell were 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. This design was a departure from the usual presidential seal and was meant to celebrate the birth of the nation and its evolution over 2 centuries, but the 1976 half-dollar didn't just stop there. It wasn't just the design on the reverse that was different. This coin marked the first time in American coinage history that a coin featured a dual date. Instead of just the year of minting, the 1976 half-dollar was stamped with both 1776 and 1976. This unique feature further set the coin apart from others minted that year and contributed to its appeal for collectors. The obverse of the 1976 half-dollar remained largely unchanged from the traditional Kennedy half-dollar design, with Kennedy's profile still appearing on the coin, as it had since 1964. The word "Liberty" is seen at the top of the coin, with "In God We Trust" to the left of Kennedy's image, and the mint year 1976 below. The familiar elements of the Kennedy design were paired with the bicentennial reverse to create a coin that was both historically significant and visually distinct. The 1976 half-dollar was minted in large numbers at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and it was made from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This is the same composition used in half-dollars produced from the mid-1960s onward, and the coin's striking appearance and intricate details make it stand out in terms of its aesthetic appeal. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1976 half-dollar truly valuable. For most people, the coin might seem like just another piece of currency that was produced in the millions and used in everyday transactions. However, there are some key factors that make this coin incredibly valuable in the world of coin collecting. The first factor is the coin's unique design, which was issued for the bicentennial celebrations. While the 1976 half-dollar was not the only coin to feature a bicentennial design, it was the most significant, as the half-dollar was one of the major denominations of U.S. currency at the time. The combination of the historical significance of the 200th anniversary of the country's founding, along with the new reverse design and the dual dates, made the 1976 half-dollar an instant collector's item. Another factor that adds to the coin's value is its relatively limited production in certain conditions. While millions of 1976 half-dollars were minted, the quality of the coin and its condition play a crucial role in determining its market value. Many of these coins circulated widely in the economy and became worn from use. Coins that have been heavily circulated or show significant wear have lower value than those that were carefully preserved and kept in pristine condition. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1976 half-dollar is the proof coin, which was struck specifically for collectors. Proof coins are special editions that are made using a different production process to give them a high-quality, mirror-like finish. These coins were produced in smaller quantities than the regular business strike coins, making them more rare and valuable. A well-preserved proof 1976 half-dollar can fetch a high price, especially if it has been carefully graded by professional coin grading services, but perhaps the most interesting factor that contributes to the value of the 1976 half-dollar is the presence of minting errors. These rare errors, which occur when a coin is struck incorrectly during the minting process, can make a coin incredibly valuable. For example, some 1976 half-dollars were struck off-center, or they might have had doubled dies, making them unique and highly collectible. Coins with such errors can command prices far beyond their face value, sometimes even reaching into the thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error. So, how much is the 1976 half-dollar worth today? While most of these coins are worth just their face value or slightly more, certain examples can fetch prices that far exceed expectations. If you happen to come across a 1976 half-dollar that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, or if it has a rare minting error, it could be worth thousands of dollars. But the real shock comes when you consider the most valuable of these coins. Some of the finest 1976 half-dollars, particularly those with exceptional qualities or rare minting errors, can fetch as much as $140,000. This eye-popping value has made the 1976 half-dollar one of the most exciting and rewarding coins for collectors. What was once a simple coin used in everyday transactions is now a treasure worth an incredible sum. The 1976 half-dollar serves as a reminder of how coins can appreciate in value over time, as rarity, condition, and historical significance play a huge role in determining their worth. In conclusion, the 1976 US half-dollar coin is far more than just a token of American currency. It's a piece of history, a work of art, and a collector's dream. With its bicentennial design, dual dates, and significance in the broader context of U.S. history, the 1976 half-dollar is a coin that continues to captivate collectors around the world. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the 1976 half-dollar is a reminder of the timeless beauty and value that coins can hold, and of course, if you ever come across a 1976 half-dollar in your pocket change, remember that it might be worth far more than the 50 cents it originally represented. Some examples of the 1976 half-dollar are worth as much as $140,000. So keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, maybe you'll stumble upon a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed learning about this fascinating coin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories from the world of rare coins. Happy collecting! The 1979 US half-dollar coin, like many coins from the 20th century, might appear to the untrained eye as nothing more than a piece of everyday currency. However, beneath its seemingly simple design and modest face value lies a coin that carries an incredible story, a story that ties into the broader sweep of American history, economic changes, and the world of coin collecting. To truly understand the significance of the 1979 half-dollar, one must look beyond its face value and explore its origins, design, minting details, and eventual appeal to collectors. The 1970s was a time of great transformation for the United States, both politically and economically. As the nation moved through the turbulence of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal, it was also transitioning into a new era of economic challenges. Inflation was on the rise, and the country was feeling the impact of the oil crisis. The U.S. Mint, however, continued its work, producing coins that would later become treasured pieces of history, such as the 1979 half-dollar. In 1979, the half-dollar coin, as with many U.S. coins of the time, bore the familiar face of President John F. Kennedy, a symbol of leadership and a defining figure in American history. But the 1979 half-dollar was unique in its own right, as it was one of the last coins in circulation to feature the Kennedy portrait in this particular form before changes were made in later years. The design of the 1979 half-dollar is a blend of tradition and remembrance. The obverse, front, of the coin shows President Kennedy's profile facing left, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Kennedy's face was immortalized in this coin as a tribute to his life and tragic assassination in 1963, and it would remain on the half-dollar coin until today. The words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," are inscribed along with the year of minting, 1979, and the artist's initials. On the reverse side of the 1979 half-dollar, the design is identical to that of the Kennedy half-dollar, featuring the presidential seal. The seal shows a bold, powerful eagle holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other, representing the nation's desire for peace and its readiness for defense. The words, "United States of America," and "half-dollar," are inscribed, framing the seal and reinforcing the significance of the coin. But it's important to note that the 1979 half-dollar coin, while relatively simple in its design, represents more than just an image of the president. The coin serves as a reminder of the ideals and values that Kennedy embodied, a belief in public service, progress, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. Kennedy's legacy would go on to impact not just the half-dollar coin, but the entire fabric of American culture, politics, and currency. For collectors, however, the 1979 half-dollar goes beyond just its historical context and design. The minting details of the coin are particularly important when evaluating its value in the marketplace. The 1979 half-dollar was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and it was made from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This was the standard composition for half-dollar coins minted after the 1960s, following a reduction in the amount of silver used in U.S. coinage. While the 1979 half-dollar was produced in large quantities, the true appeal for collectors lies in the condition and rarity of the coin. The U.S. Mint produced millions of half-dollar coins that year, and most of these coins circulated in the economy, seeing heavy wear and usage. As a result, many of the coins you come across today may be heavily worn, tarnished, or damaged, significantly reducing their value. However, some of the 1979 half-dollars that were carefully preserved or never circulated have survived in mint state condition, and these coins have become incredibly valuable. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, with no visible marks, scratches, or signs of wear, are highly sought after by collectors. These coins are far rarer than their worn counterparts, which is why their value has increased dramatically in the years since they were minted. Another factor that plays a significant role in determining the value of the 1979 half-dollar is the possibility of minting errors. Minting errors occur when a coin is struck incorrectly or is subjected to some flaw during the production process. These errors can take many forms. Some are subtle, while others are more pronounced. Common errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, or coins that have been struck with die cracks or other imperfections. Minting errors can make a coin one of a kind, and this rarity adds considerable value to the coin. For example, a 1979 half-dollar with a double strike, a mistake that occurs when a coin is struck by the die multiple times, could be worth a small fortune. These rare errors capture the attention of collectors and are highly prized for their uniqueness. Errors like these can push the value of the 1979 half-dollar to impressive amounts, far beyond its face value. When we talk about the appeal of the 1979 half-dollar, we cannot overlook the fact that coins from this period hold a particular place in the hearts of collectors. The late 20th century was a time of cultural shifts, political changes, and economic challenges, and the half-dollar coin from 1979 serves as a reminder of that transformative time. It captures the spirit of the country during that era, reflecting both the struggles and the triumphs of a nation that was in the process of redefining itself. As the years have gone by, the value of certain 1979 half-dollar coins has risen steadily. The combination of historical significance, rarity, and condition has driven the price of these coins to astonishing heights. What was once a common coin used for everyday transactions has, over time, become a rare and valuable treasure for coin collectors. Now, the most exciting part: how much is the 1979 half-dollar worth today? While the majority of these coins are still worth just their face value of 50 cents, certain examples, those in uncirculated condition, those with minting errors, or those that are considered exceptionally rare, can be worth a significant amount of money. Some of these coins have fetched prices at auction that could make even the most seasoned collector's jaw drop. For example, a high-grade, uncirculated 1979 half-dollar could be worth as much as $132,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $132,000. The rarity of these coins in pristine condition, combined with the historical significance of the year 1979 and the Kennedy legacy, has made the 1979 half-dollar one of the most highly sought-after coins in the numismatic world. In fact, coins that feature rare minting errors or that are in exceptional condition have even been known to fetch higher amounts at auction, especially if they are among the finest known examples in existence. The value of the 1979 half-dollar serves as a testament to the world of coin collecting and the fascinating potential for certain coins to appreciate dramatically over time. What may seem like a small, insignificant coin can, in the right circumstances, become a valuable and cherished item. And for those collectors who have managed to find these rare, high-quality 1979 half-dollars, the rewards can be substantial. In conclusion, the 1979 U.S. half-dollar coin is much more than just a token of American currency. It is a symbol of an era marked by change, political upheaval, and cultural transformation. It is a piece of American history, forever tied to the legacy of President John F. Kennedy and the 20th century challenges faced by the United States. Whether you are a seasoned coin collector or someone who has just begun to dip your toes into the world of numismatics, the 1979 half-dollar coin represents a fascinating and valuable chapter in U.S. coinage. And the next time you come across a 1979 half-dollar coin, remember, there could be more than just 50 cents sitting in your pocket. A pristine example of this coin, especially one with a rare minting error or in mint condition, could be worth as much as $132,000. Keep your eyes open, because you never know when you might come across a treasure like this. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1979 half dollar, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories about rare and valuable coins. Happy collecting!